So in this video, I'm going to be walking through the best tools you could use for your outbound infrastructure in 2025. And the key of this video, like the key point I want to make, is that you want to eradicate shiny object syndrome. There's so many AI tools and softwares that come out each and every day that promise you 200% increase in operational efficiency, XY results, and it's so hard to build a consistent outbound system such as cold email when each and every software in your tech stack is changing every single month. All right. So ultimately, I just want to say is that everything's the same thing. They just differentiate in marketing and the actual team behind it. If you trust the team behind, they have good customer service and they have a good product, just stick with them. All right. Jumping straight into it is domain setup. Pretty self-explanatory. You could buy cheap domains, but I don't really like to rely on cheap domains because sometimes they have downtime issues. And yeah, we like to stick to Cloudflare, GoDaddy, and Spaceship, just revolving around 3. This is ranked in just what I suggest and what we also run in our business and for our clients. But yeah, don't need to overcomplicate this. This is just a startup cost once and you pay for the whole year and expect to just replace your domains after 3 to 6 months. Now jumping into inboxes setup. So this is very, very key and crucial because you want to actually have control over your inboxes on rotation. Sometimes they get burnt. You want to set up other inboxes or you want to replace them or you want to rotate them. So it really depends on if you want to have that hands-on approach. I would suggest going with a technical approach, just setting up inboxes through Google. But then again, there are third-party providers that make each step of the way easier and easier, and you get a way lower price than Google. So you could start off with Maildozo. They're just a platform that just provides the whole infrastructure for you for a set price. This really depends on if you've already cracked outbound and you're like, all right, now I could rely on paying $166 per month because this is a key system in my business. But if you haven't gotten results yet, and sometimes I haven't tried Maildozo. We haven't tried it. We really like to stick to the technical process because we like to have control over our inboxes and our clients' inboxes. But it really depends on what your business or what your purpose is for the tool. But yeah, I've heard good things about this. It's known in the space pretty well, so I'd recommend it. But yeah, going straight into it, premium inboxes, 100% recommended. We use it for ourselves and for our clients' inboxes, and their pricing it's amazing. So hard to beat. Their customer service is like top notch, so I don't think you'll have any problems with this. This is one that I recommend the most. And then you also have cheap inboxes. They do Outlook as well. I think they just premium inboxes really just focuses on Google for now, but maybe they're coming out with Outlook, not for sure. But yeah, you could really just depending on if you're sending to Outlook inboxes or Gmail inboxes, just make sure that you have like a good inbox provider because that's the whole foundation for your infrastructure. All right, so you've gotten domains figured out, you've gotten inboxes figured out. Now you want to actually get them into a platform where all the 20 domain like inboxes are actually connected. Because if you're just switching from inbox to inbox, you'll have the most messed up laptop out there. You don't want that, right? So you want to really focus on the software that's reliable again and has good customer service because the platform you choose now really depends on how fast replies are going to reach your inboxes. If your inboxes are actually sending out emails, well, dependent on the provider you're choosing. So what we recommend starting off with simply is Instantly. They were one of the first entrants in the space. And yeah, they're pretty good. Their customer service could be better, but to be honest, when it comes to any email sending platform, Mailbison does have a private infrastructure, so you're paying premium. So this is again when you've pretty much cracked outbound. But really, really smartly, again, personal experience, just too much shit going on every single month that we don't want to have when we are managing our inboxes and our clients' inboxes. So we like to stick with Instantly, but maybe email Bison is something we'll look out in the future. But yeah. So once you got the top 3 figured out your infrastructure, you set it aside, let the inboxes warm up for 14 days to 21 days, and now you're focused on, all right, the contacts, the leads. How do I get the best information out there? So simply with market research and ICP refinement, number one things are calls with your clients, calls with prospects, and using that information. But if you can't get that primary information off the bat, I would really recommend using Octave. Octave is pretty insane when it comes to actually ICP refinement, So they really help on making sure all the information you pass on before is actually structured and relevant and can be inputted in systems that you're going to use further on, So yeah, this is really good if you don't know the ideal market you're selling to and you want to refine it. Now, the second thing is obviously just using LLMs out there. We would recommend using Gemini Deep Research, pretty insane, and Google has the best sources there. That's what the internet's been running for ages, So them coming out with an LLM tool and deep research, all the information is reliable, and you could use such good search methodologies like going through Reddit, going through communities, going through ads. You could do a lot with it. So I'd really recommend one of these two when it comes to market research and ICP refinement. Now, pretty simple is lead sourcing and verification. Now, this I would say is a very commoditized field. That's why there's so many platforms and softwares here. And again, they do the same thing, provide the same purpose. I'm just giving a plethora of options and giving my input when it comes to it. Simply, The way I do it is I just stick to Appify. Appify is pretty good. You could start off with pretty much free credits and test out if you want to scrape leads around your area, if you want to scrape leads for influencers, or if you want to actually scrape leads for FBA data. Really depends on your use case. But we really utilize Google Maps a lot. It's amazing. Pretty much just extracts data, puts it in a sheet, and you could go ahead and use it for enrichment platforms. Then you have Scraping Bee and Scraper API. Same thing. I would just say we have used Scraper API and Appify. We just like Appify more because of the marketplace and the community that's built around it. Now, the second thing is then actually finding the emails and verifying the emails. So you'd find some platforms that actually just combine this, so you could find it and verify it in the same place. But then again, there could be another platform out there that just specializes in finding emails, and just because they specialize in finding emails, their service and their ability to find emails is pretty much higher. So sometimes you'd have to have a different lead sourcing platform and lead verification platform. But when it comes to having both in one, I would really suggest Prospeo or FindEmail. FindEmail is pretty insane. And if you use Clay, you could really just combine this whole process, like lead sourcing, verification, and enrichment can all blend into one. And Clay is amazing. It's just a whole go-to-market platform that you can use all these tools, and basically it's Google Sheets on steroids. And yeah, pretty insane. So when it comes to lead sourcing verification, there's so many ones out there. Sometimes you, like, one platform might find an email and the other one might not. And then to verify that email is good, I would suggest verifying it, and then we double verify it again, because we don't want to burn the inboxes. So what we do is we go to BounceBound and we just verify catch all emails. So what it does, it sends like test emails to these inboxes. I don't like to go into the whole technicals of it because I don't know much of it either. But yeah, what it does is just sends out emails, making sure the inboxes are receiving emails well, and goes on about it. And pretty simple. When it comes to that, you've got your lead sourcing. I'd suggest Appify. When it comes to actually finding emails of those leads and verifying them, I would suggest FindEmail, Prospero, and Hunter, either three. And then actually verifying it again, I would suggest BounceBound. And then when it comes to lead enrichment and copywriting, Clay, again, would highly recommend it. My partner has done other videos on Clay, actually going through enriching data and writing copy from it. So that's just checking that out. But second thing is now we have Apollo. I don't use Apollo that much because they've had so many changes in the past few months and had quite a bad rep. But then again, I haven't used it, so I'm not going to say bad rep. But yeah, these websites kind of drive me crazy because they slow my laptop down crazy. Yeah, but so much kind of confuses me. But I would suggest Apollo. Pretty much, it's a database of information. Their team had the job to update it every single week, month, depending on when they do it. And yeah, because there's new data entering the internet every single day. So it's up to these platforms to actually gather the data and put it into one place for their customers. So it gets a bit pricey at one point, but you're paying for that service. And yeah, just don't want to skip over this. Claude is perfect. The only LLM you need for copywriting, I'd say, it just invokes such a human tone, and you could actually conversate with it pretty well and get the results you want. Comparison to like ChatGPT or DeepSeek or those open source models, I would heavily suggest Claude. And they're really known for the API out there. So if you're using like Clay, I would heavily suggest Claude to use that for copywriting. And yeah, and when it comes to actually finding more enrichment data, you can use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a superior platform. And you can pay for LinkedIn Sales Navigator to actually source leads as well. Now, lastly, we're moving on to AI reply and inbox management. We like to handle our inbox management in-house for our clients. For ourselves, we're testing like AI reply handling and inbox management. It's such a business cycle on how these tools work. Sometimes they work great, sometimes they work shit. So yeah, that's why we're trying out for ourselves first. But these are like ones out there in the market. You have RepReply. Thinking of going with this to start off in our own operations. But yeah, right now for our own operations, we have a whole backend automation set up, and that works pretty well. So unless these tools, when they come out with more reliability or they're just more affordable, we'd kind of realize to switching to them. But if you want to just leverage the tools out there, I would suggest using RepReply. There's also respond.io, so you can respond to all your chats, calls, and emails all in one place. And you just want to make sure, especially with these platforms, that they have the best customer service. And if they don't, just don't like decide to pay this much money for it. Honestly, it's not worth it. Yeah, lastly, I would suggest also AppointWise. AppointWise is pretty good if, let's say, you're not just sending emails, okay? You're also receiving text, SMS, and you want to centralize it with your clients. I would heavily suggest using AppointWise, but pure inbox management, Reply, and Respond.io. All right, so we've covered all the possible tools when it comes to outbound out there in 2025, and ultimately, I want to leave you with this note, is that eradicate shiny object syndrome. There will be another software platform out there every single day, but you cannot be changing your operations and your systems every single month or every week if there's a new tool out there. So you have to make these decisions on your own. And I'll be dropping this document below so you can have a look at actually the bonuses. So it goes through landing pages, automations, and actually CRMs and AI agents. And if you want me to make a specific video about it, just let me know in the comments. But yeah, have a great day and peace.